Hi, and welcome to our live training session. My name is Matt Schell. I'm a trainer at Unity Technologies. And in this session, we're going to be taking a look at visual effects with particle systems. So the goals for this sessions are to learn to create particle effects with complex chaotic movement using the noise module of the particle system component. We're also going to learn to create particle effects which create matching light effects in your scene using the lights module. And we're going to learn to create streaking particle effects using the trails module. So these three modules are all modules of the particle system component that have been added in Unity 5.5. So this is going to be a kind of a combination look at new features along with a general kind of how to create some cool particle effects session. So we have an asset for this session. The asset is a free asset package from the Unity Asset Store, which you can download at the bit.ly link that you see on your screen. You can also just search Unity Particle Pack on the Asset Store. And this is a free set of particle systems and textures and accompanying assets created by Roark Nelson, who is a member of the R&D content team based out of Brighton, England, along with myself. He's actually one of the newer members of the team. He's an artist and has been doing some awesome stuff, including this particle pack. So I'm very excited to share his work with you guys today and to use it as an example to look at creating some of our own particle systems and also to learn about some of these new features in Unity 5.5. So let's begin. So I have here a empty project in 3D mode, a new empty project in 3D mode that is, and I've imported the Unity Particle Pack. There's a little warning here that you don't need to worry about. It's just a couple of shaders and one of the models that we used that I think is not even used in this. So don't worry about those. That's fine. And I'm just clearing that from the console so nobody gets concerned about it. And we're going to open up the folder Effect Examples. And we're going to go to the Scenes folder and open the menu scene. So the way that this is set up for you to kind of demonstrate it is there's this menu scene with a little bit of UI, which we can scroll through to see all the different particle systems in action. But they're also broken out into subfolders with prefabs of the systems together, along with the materials and the textures and so on. So you can just grab these and use them. And there's a lot of awesome textures and just ready-made assets that you can just grab and use in your projects in here. So I definitely recommend you check this out. So what we're going to do first is we're going to take a look at the whole pack quickly. There's about 22, I think, effects in here. So we're going to go through a little bit quickly, look at them all. You can obviously grab them and look at them on your own time. And I'm going to identify the two systems that we're going to recreate, and then we'll get started. So I'm just going to play the scene. And so the first that we have is this big explosion. This is made from a couple of different subsystems. We've got some smoke, debris flying off, some embers, and it's a pretty nice dynamic effect. And we have a nice description of how it's put together here in this UI. Here's a simpler explosion. Doesn't have the debris, but it's got the nice textured fire and the embers and the smoke. We've got this plasma explosion. This is using the new trail renderer module of the particle system component, and we're going to take a look at that in this session. This fire example is one of the systems that we're going to recreate. This particular system here with the flames, the embers, and the dynamic lighting is one of the examples that we're going to spend a good amount of time working through and recreating. It uses the new noise module to great effect and the capability for particle systems to create lights which match the color of the particles themselves. Really cool. And then we've got this flamethrower, which is excellent. Torch, using the same flame textures, but it will follow the object if you move it around. Smoke, here we have an example of the light being cast on the smoke particles. Sparks, we're going to do this second spark example. Here we have the sparks that are using the trail module and that are also affected by a little bit of gravity and will bounce off the surface, which we can't actually see the way this is set up, but I will show you when we get there. And this is the second system that we're gonna go through and work through. We've got this nice rain. This is making use of sub-emitters, right, where it's spawning these little particle effects for the ripples on the ground. Pretty cool. Here we've got these storm clouds with this nice dynamic sort of lightning effect inside them. Water drip, again, using sub-emitters and collision, I believe, to spawn these ripples when the particle collides with the ground. Nice waterfall with some sort of flat ripples around it. This is a little interactive demo. We've got a gun, and we can shoot holes in the metal. Here you can see it spawns a decal, but it also makes a little sort of smoke puff, and then some of those sparks with the trails that we saw. You can really see it if you shoot the edge there, spawning off of that. We have a couple of examples. We have a nice wood example where we instantiate a hole or spawn a hole and then create some sort of splinter debris particles. A metal example where we've got these nice sort of sprays of stone dust when we shoot the object. Sand, where we're kind of spraying off these sand cloud particles when we hit. This looks like it's two systems where we have some spraying kind of perpendicular to the system and then some affected by gravity falling down around it. Pretty cool. Container, this is fun. Pew! Right, where we're showing that we can spray out a stream of particles that are affected by gravity. That's a lot of fun. Then we have this kind of slightly creepy flesh orb here. We've got three parts to this system. We've got a little sort of blood mist, some sort of drops of blood, and then some streaks, right? Sort of inspired by Hollywood squib blood packs. You know, if you're making a shooting game, potentially this is something you could just grab and use directly. Nice rocket trail here. This is showing us, we can see the lighting, right, passing through the scene. And we've also got some noise controlling the strength of the noise over the lifetime, with a curve controlling the strength of the noise over the lifetime. This one is very hard to see, but it's a nice example of the noise module. These are dust motes. I'll just actually modify this quickly just so we can see it. This stuff is great for adding like really cheap immersion to your games and to make things. This is obviously, I just turned the size up by 10 times so you could really see them. This is particularly awesome in VR, where it adds this really easy, cheap sort of depth effect, because you have this very 3D feeling with all these things floating around at different distances along the z-axis. Quite cool. Obviously, better to use more subtle than this, where we have like a kind of cloud of fireflies. We've got some sand swirls here. This is a billboard with scale over lifetime and the noise module to simulate wind. So a nice collection of different particle systems which are showing off a lot of the new features. We're going to dial in on two of those, being the flames and the sparks, to kind of look at those new modules that have been added, and also just kind of look at some general particle system authoring techniques. And so before I move into that, let me just take a look at the chat and then we will begin. Hydrason's asking, the dust cloud, is there a setting to prevent the particles from clipping into the floor? You could use collision to do that, but I would say it's a little bit like using a shotgun to hunt rats. I don't have a great analogy for you there. My brain is still definitely not up to 100%. It's a little bit overkill, and there will be some performance costs associated with it. So you need to decide how important that is for yourself. You could maybe do some kind of shader thing, but I would have to think about that.